stop right there. Before you swipe past this, this is for you. You did something in the dark. Maybe it was a prayer you whispered when the whole house was dead silent. Maybe it was a confession you made alone at 3 a.m. An act of faith that cost you something you didn't even have to give. And you did it anyway, not knowing if anyone would ever see it, with no guarantee of a return and no audience to cheer you on. But heaven didn't ignore it. God stopped. He paused everything to answer you, right here, in this exact moment. Stay with me until the very end. Before this is over, you're going to receive a specific protocol so this answer can reach you without any interference. But before that word fully lands, I have to ask you something. Over the last few weeks, have you felt that specific weight? It's not sadness and it's not exactly fear. It's that heavy sensation in your chest when you wake up before your alarm goes off. It's heavier at 5 a.m. than it is at 10 p.m. It's the feeling of doing everything right and still ending up staring at the ceiling while the rest of the world sleeps. It's not a lack of faith. It's something between faith and exhaustion, the kind of faith that can't find the energy to smile while it's holding the anchor. You've found yourself in those moments, on your knees on the bathroom floor, shower running full blast so no one outside could hear you crying, or sitting at your desk at work, fingers typing away while your mind was miles away in a completely different conversation. That internal dialogue no one even knows is happening. You've woken up more than once certain that today is the day, and then the day ended. No sign, no news, no visible breakthrough. And yet you kept going. You're still standing. That isn't a small thing. That is exactly what heaven took note of. If this is hitting home, do this. Hitting the like button is your public amen. Heaven records what you confess openly. Now, before we go further, I have 3 promises about what's going to happen here. That thing you did in the dark, I saw it, and what I saw moved me. I'm not late. I was waiting for the perfect window so the answer would arrive whole, not in pieces. First promise. You're going to understand the spiritual truth behind that silent moment you lived through, and you'll realize that what felt like weakness or desperation was actually the most powerful thing you could have done. Second promise, you're going to get a 3-step protocol, something you can do today to open up the floodgates for the answer heaven has already prepared. Third promise, before you leave, you'll have a declaration that will ring in your ears tomorrow morning when the 5 a.m. wait tries to come back. Stay till the end. Don't break the connection. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you doesn't work if your attention is divided. If heaven is responding to what you did, there are signs all around you that you might be mislabeling. Let's name them. The first sign is the loud silence. You've entered a phase where your prayers feel like they aren't even leaving the room. The words come out, but they hit the ceiling. Your heart is right. Your intentions are right, and yet total silence on the other end. You've been calling this a spiritual desert. It's not. It's the silence that precedes an answer too big to fit into a quick conversation. When heaven prepares something that's going to change your entire next chapter, God doesn't just give you a short sentence. He prepares the ground first. The second sign is an unexplained restlessness. Lately, you can't seem to sit still. It's not clinical anxiety. You know the difference. It's an internal urgency with no destination. You keep checking your phone for a message you aren't even expecting. You start a task and drop it halfway through. You've been calling this nerves. It's not. It's your spirit recognizing that something is moving before your eyes can see it. The physical world hasn't shifted yet, but the spiritual realm is already in motion, and your soul feels it before your brain can process it. The third sign is the sudden divine pruning. People who used to be close have started to drift away. No fight, no drama, just a gradual cooling off. Paths that seemed wide open are suddenly blocked. An opportunity that looked like a sure thing fell through. A door you expected to open stayed shut. You've been calling this rejection or abandonment. It's not. It's heaven clearing the runway, so what's coming next has room to land. What was removed wasn't your destination. It was just taking up the space where your destination needs to be. The fourth sign is the resurfacing dream. Something from your past has come back to your mind lately. An old goal, a word spoken over you years ago, a promise you received back when you had more hope. Something that got buried under the weight of time. You've been calling this nostalgia or missing a simpler time. It's not. It's heaven reminding you where the promise started so you can understand where it's about to finish. That memory didn't come back by accident. It came back because the original chapter is being reopened. The fifth sign is soul fatigue. You slept, but you woke up exhausted. You rested, but you still feel heavy. You spent a weekend doing nothing, and by Monday it felt like you hadn't moved an inch. You've been calling this burnout or needing a vacation. It's not. It's the weight of carrying an anointing that hasn't been fully released yet, and that weight only lifts when the answer drops. It's not your body that's tired. It's your spirit sustaining something that hasn't been delivered yet. You're living through one or more of these signs right now. Type "free" in the comments if this word is reaching you. Let me show you that this isn't new. The pattern of what you're going through has a name, a history, and a precedent. Elijah had just won the biggest spiritual showdown of his generation. Fire had fallen from heaven in front of everyone. The false prophets were defeated. It was the greatest victory of his life. And then, immediately after the win, he ran away, sat under a broom tree in the middle of nowhere, and asked to die. He didn't ask for a break. He asked for the end. "I've had enough, Lord. Take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors." And heaven didn't send an angel with a sermon about being ungrateful. God didn't lecture him about a lack of faith after everything that had just happened. He sent an angel with a fresh loaf of bread and a jar of water. And the angel said, "Get up and eat, because the journey is too much for you without this." Elijah wasn't scolded for being on the ground. He was fed. And it was from that very spot on the dirt, under that tree, that he received the instructions for the next 40 days of his life. Elijah's most powerful act wasn't the victory on Mount Carmel. It was sitting on the ground and admitting he was at his limit and letting heaven meet him in that exact broken place. Now think about an old AM radio before you find the right station. Before the voice comes through crystal clear, there's a point where all you hear is static, a white noise that sounds like a total loss of signal. Anyone who doesn't understand the technology thinks the radio is broken. They turn it off right before the perfect tune-in. You might have thought you were breaking, that the silence was proof that nothing was coming. But static isn't an absence of signal. It's the fine-tuning process before the voice becomes clear. The signal was always there. The receiver was just being calibrated. Elijah under the tree and the radio in the static are the same thing. The appearance of being abandoned, which is actually the moment right before the answer. Which one do you identify with more? Elijah or the radio? Let me know in the comments. Let me stop for one full minute, because I need you to see what's happening clearly, not through the lens of how you feel, but through the lens of what truly is. You've lived through days of silence when you expected an answer. You've seen doors close when you expected them to swing open. You've felt people walk away when you needed them most. You've carried a weight that's hard to put into words, because it's a spiritual weight, not an emotional one, and human language wasn't really built to describe what happens at that level. And yet, you did something. A silent act, with no audience, with no guarantee. A prayer, a moment of obedience, an act of faith that cost you something real. Without knowing if it would ever be seen. It was seen. I am the one who records what the world discards. That moment you thought went unnoticed. I was there, not as an observer, but as a participant. And what happened in that silent moment created a divine obligation in heaven that I will not ignore. You don't need to keep asking. You need to learn how to receive what has already been released. And here is who you are in the middle of all this. Your first identity is the unseen intercessor. You are designed to move in the spirit before things move in the natural. That's not a limitation. It's a position. Most people only act when they see something. You were built to act before you see. Because your job isn't to respond to reality. It's to create the conditions for a new reality to happen. Every silent act you did without a crowd was an intercession. Not out of weakness, but out of authority. You pray, and the path opens. Not just for you, but for whoever is coming behind you. This identity gives you permission for this. You don't need visible approval to know that what you're doing is working. Intercessors don't get real-time reports. They get results. Your second identity is the vessel in preparation. What you've been through over the last few months wasn't a punishment. It was a process. Vessels that carry a heavy anointing go through intense pressure before the delivery. It's not neglect. It's spiritual engineering. What felt like it was breaking you was actually expanding your capacity to hold what's coming. A vessel that hasn't been tempered cracks when the blessing arrives. The pressure you felt was your walls being stretched, not giving out, but expanding. This identity gives you permission for this. You aren't about to receive a small blessing. What's coming is proportional to the process you just survived. Don't ask for less than what your struggle paid for. Your third identity is the answered. You entered this video as someone who was waiting. You're going to leave as someone who has already received, even before you see the external sign. Heaven's answer doesn't wait for a physical manifestation to be real. It's decreed in the spirit before it shows up in the natural. The lag time between the decree and the manifestation isn't silence. It's transit time, and the transit time is over. This identity gives you permission for this. Your posture now isn't one of begging. It's one of reception. You've already been answered. You no longer act like someone asking for a favor. You act like someone waiting for the delivery of something that's already been shipped. Write intercessor, vessel, or answered in the comments to claim your identity, and subscribe right now so the next word finds you already in position. Now I need to show you something I discovered. When I started looking at why some people receive their answer while others, with the same faith and the same request, keep waiting, I realized it wasn't a difference in worthiness. It was a difference in blockage. There are blessings that aren't late. They're being held back. They're blocked by layers that ordinary prayer doesn't always move. Not because God isn't listening, but because there's a specific spiritual protocol for release that most people are never taught. You didn't learn this in Sunday school. No one explained why some prayers seem to break through while others hit the ceiling. It's not a lack of faith. It's a missing key. That's why I created the Breakthrough Journal. 21 days to release what's been held back. The core of the journal is the 3-cycle protocol. The first is the breakdown cycle. It identifies and dissolves the specific blockages that are keeping what's already been promised away from you. These aren't generic blocks. They're mapped to your real-life situation. What's stalling your life isn't the same thing stalling someone else's, and this cycle targets exactly what needs to be dealt with in your case. The second is the clearing cycle. It purifies your spiritual path so the blessing can reach you without being diverted. Whatever has been contaminated by years of pain, rejection, or accumulated doubt is handled here with surgical precision. The third is the possession cycle. It positions you as an active receiver, not a beggar. You stop asking. You start taking ownership of what's already been released. The difference between asking and receiving isn't just wordplay. It's a posture. And your posture changes what arrives at your door. And it comes with 2 bonuses. The first is the prayer blueprint. 15 prayers written for specific moments. Not generic prayers. Prayers for the exact moment you're in. When doubt hits at 3 a.m., when the silence feels like abandonment, when your faith is there, but your energy is gone. Each prayer was written for a real moment, Because your spiritual life happens in real moments, not in perfect scenarios. The second bonus is the Psalms Manual. 10 Psalms with historical context, guided meditation, and declarations of faith. So you don't just read the Psalms as poetry, you use them as weapons. The Psalms were written by people who were exactly where you are. At the limit, in the silence, in that soul-deep fatigue. Let me tell you about 3 people who went through the journal. Mary, 43, woke up one Friday with that same feeling you have now. That nameless weight in her chest. That feeling of doing everything right, but seeing no return. On the 14th day of the protocol, she got a phone call that completely shifted her family's financial situation. Not because she prayed harder, but because the blockage was removed. The path was finally clear. John, 57, had been carrying the weight of a broken relationship for 3 years. A rift that felt permanent. No talking, no opening, no visible way back. On the 21st day of the protocol, there was a reconciliation he had actually stopped praying for because it seemed impossible. It wasn't impossible for heaven. It was just blocked. Sarah, 31, was at her breaking point, just like Elijah under the tree saying, "I've had enough." On the 8th day of the protocol, the stillness came back. Not a sudden high, not a temporary win. Peace. A peace she hadn't felt in years. And with that peace came the clarity to make a decision she'd been stuck on for months. I'm going to be straight with you about what happens when you hesitate. Right now, that blockage is costing you hours of your day in unnecessary weight. That pressure in your chest you know so well. Every week that passes without removing it, it settles in deeper. Every year it goes untreated. Your kids grow up watching you carry something you could have set down today. The cost isn't just yours. Hesitation has a spiritual name, and that name is the exact same blockage the journal is designed to remove. The enemy doesn't stop you from wanting freedom. He just stops you from taking the step toward it. If you're feeling that hesitation right now, that's not being careful. That's the blockage working. The cost of the breakthrough journal? Less than your morning Starbucks run. Less than a fast food combo or a Saturday lunch for the kids. And it comes with a 7-day guarantee. Full refund, no questions asked. And you keep the bonuses even if you ask for your money back. You lose nothing by trying. You lose something very real by not trying. The link is in the first pinned comment. Not tomorrow, not after you've thought it over. Now, because heaven didn't answer you just so you could stay at the back of the line. Now, I'm going to give you what I promised at the start. This is the open reception protocol. 3 steps to do today, not tomorrow. Today, the first step is the posture of reception. Before you say any other prayer today, declare out loud, I am not asking. I am receiving what has already been released. That's not just positive thinking. It's a spiritual stance. It shifts your spirit from lack to expectation. Lack begs. Expectation waits for the delivery. They are 2 completely different signals, and heaven responds to them differently. The second step is to name the silent act. Identify that specific thing you did. That one prayer, that one act of obedience, that sacrifice that actually cost you something. Think of that concrete moment and name it out loud. It was that moment. That is what heaven recorded. Naming it isn't bragging. It's recognizing where the portal was opened so you can receive through the same point. The third step is to create physical space. Pick a spot in your house, a chair, a window, a corner that's yours. Sit there today for 5 minutes and do absolutely nothing. Don't pray out loud. Don't ask. Don't list your needs. Just be present as a receiver. Let heaven have access to the silence you've created. The sign of confirmation isn't excitement. It's not crying or shaking. It's stillness, a quietness that wasn't there before, a peace that doesn't have an emotional explanation. If that peace shows up, the answer is being received. In the next 72 hours, 3 things are going to be thrown at you. Not maybe. Definitely. The first is the reasonable delay. A thought will come that sounds perfectly sensible. I'll do this tomorrow when I'm less busy, when things are more stable. It will sound like wisdom and responsibility. It's sabotage. Reasonable delay is the most common disguise used against people about to receive. Your weapon. Act before you feel like it. Don't wait for the right moment. The right moment is the one you're in. The second is contrary evidence. In the next few hours, something will happen. A piece of news, a situation, a comment that will seem to contradict everything you received here. It will look like proof that nothing changed. It's not proof. It's a stability test. Heaven doesn't take back a decree just because things look messy on earth. Your weapon. What heaven decreed isn't canceled by what my eyes see today. The third is silent comparison. You'll see someone close to you get a blessing, a visible win, a quick answer, and a thought will slip in. Why them and not me? Why him and not me yet? It's the poison of comparison dressed up as devotion. Your weapon. Your answer is custom built for your preparation. It's not less than theirs. It's different. And different isn't less. After those three external tactics, the fourth front is internal. The voice that knows your history better than anyone. It will use exactly what you feel are your weaknesses. Exactly what you haven't overcome yet. Don't argue with it. Just declare, I have been answered. I am receiving. Type protected in the comments. The decree is sealed. Before we finish, I need you to do one simple thing. Place your hand on your heart. Just that. Hand on your heart. Feel the weight you've been carrying up to this point. All those mornings before the alarm. The 5 a.m.s that felt heavier than the night before. The days when your faith was solid, but your smile was gone. The moments on the bathroom floor with the water running so no one would hear. Now let it go. Not with a shout, but with a decision. I hand over what I've carried. I receive what has been released. I saw that morning. You before the alarm. Hand on your heart in the dark, wondering if anything was ever going to change. I was there. I wasn't watching from the outside. I was inside that moment with you. I saw you crying in the shower. I saw you staring at the ceiling while everyone else slept because you didn't have an answer for yourself about when things would shift and what you did in that hour of silence. On that night that felt like every other night, in that moment you thought went unnoticed, it created a crack in the spirit that I stepped through. Not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful when the silence was deafening. The answer isn't on the way. It's already here. You're standing in the middle of it. What your eyes need to see is coming, but what is real has already been sealed. You aren't the same person you were when you woke up today, and the proof isn't how you feel, it's what has been decreed. You're leaving this video different than you started, not because you heard nice words, but because a spiritual truth has been spoken over your life. It is done. What was delivered here stays delivered. Amen. Type done in the comments. So the decree is confessed publicly before everyone. Now think of one person, one specific person, who woke up today with that same weight in their chest. Someone who's going through the signs you recognized here. Someone who's sitting under their own broom tree and doesn't know the angel is already there. Send this video to them. Don't explain it. Just send it. And if they want to go deeper, the link is in the first comment. Waiting for them just like it waited for you. The next video is already ready, and it's going to show you what to do when the answer starts arriving and the fear of receiving it kicks in. Because that fear is real, it has a name, and you need to be ready for it. It is done. You aren't the same person you were when this message started.